Viewer discretion is advised.
Sorry, I meant to do this story a whole lot sooner, but now I know a lot of kids today and back in the day used to fake sick from going to school. You know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of people, especially today, do not like school. I ain't gonna lie to you, I didn't like school either because I had social anxiety back when I was 7 years old. And then I do today. I don't have social anxiety anymore. I never opened this up about my social anxiety, but social anxiety as a fellow with autism, it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy fitting in. Well, back in the first grade, I had a lot of social anxiety. I moved to a new school and everything. And that was the only 2 times that I've switched schools. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people switch schools all the time, but switching schools for me, it was nonchalant. I hardly even know anybody. I'm just learning what my school is actually about. You know what I'm saying? As a young kid. Well, today's story, I'm going to explain how I faked sick from going to school. Now, during my first grade, I did not like school at all. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like it because of my social anxiety. I just wanted to have a whole day to myself. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, just to stay home. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really feel like going to school on this particular day. So I woke up, you know, around 6 a.m. as soon as the sun comes up. And then I start making vomiting noises, right? Because vomiting noises starts to sound very, very realistic. Now, for most black households or wherever household you're at, they say you throw up, hurry up, put your clothes on because you're still going to school. And then there's just no way out of it. And then all of a sudden you have to convince your parents that you're really sick. But really, you're not really sick at all. So here's my thing. In my household back in the day, I got the green light to stay home. But I couldn't stay in the house all by myself, right? I actually had to go to my grandmother's house for the whole day while my mama was at work. And to my surprise, my cousins were actually staying home too because they also faked sick as well. So what a coincidence. So all 3 of us, we hanging out in the room, we just chilling while my grandmother is watching The Price is Right or something, and while my auntie was chilling in her room watching the soap operas. It was a coincidence that all 3 of us were hanging out on this particular day while everybody was at school. You know what I'm saying? But my grandmother saw right through the 3 of us. She knew that we were not really sick. We just wanted to spend a day off from school, okay? But it was worth it though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was worth it because we got to spend the day together. Like, we could usually just do this on the weekend, but usually, like, with my mother, we can't really spend the weekend at grandma's. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't. You know what I'm saying? So I go over to my cousin's or my grandmother's house. We all have fun. You know, my auntie ordered us lunch, but my grandmother told us that we need to go back to school the very next day. And, you know, as soon as my mom picks me up from my grandmother's, we go back home. We usually go to the routine. We chill out for the rest of the day. And then all of a sudden, we go back to school the very next day. Because I think my mother also knew that I wasn't really sick either. You know what I'm saying? But she doesn't say anything. But for the first time in ever that I'm telling this story, and about, like 14, 15 years later, you know what I'm saying? Because those were the good old days. And I told you during this season of my podcast that I will be telling much more childhood stories, okay? some good old childhood stories, because I know y'all tired of hearing the high school stories. You know what I'm saying? I'm honestly getting tired of telling them. Matter of fact, because y'all heard them all. Well, except for my 6th grade year, but we'll get into that much later on in the season. I do not know. But another time that I had to stay home from school because I was sick, and I was really sick. I was coming down with allergies. I was feeling like shit. You know what I'm saying? I had to put my head down in the classroom. My nose was stuffy and everything. I had to miss a whole day of school. And this was back in middle school. You know what I'm saying? My 6th grade year. I had to go back to my grandmother's house. And she knew that I was really sick this time. But my cousin, one of my cousins were actually in school. And my other cousin, who's grown up now, was chilling at home with my grandmother and my auntie. We go to the store. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling. I'm possibly vlogging, making videos, watching YouTube. You know what I'm saying? This, that, and the other. And I go back home and I go back to school the very next day, all healed up and everything. And there was a bunch of times where I was sick. I had to go to my grandmother's house, you know what I'm saying, like throughout elementary school. You know what I'm saying? I think I stopped going to my grandmother's house when I was sick when I turned into a teenager, because, to be honest with you, I was getting too big for that, because I was honestly old enough to stay home alone now. You know what I'm saying? When you're a teenager. But those were the good old days to stay at grandmother's house. You know what I'm saying? You always see the memes on the internet. If you're a part of that nostalgia from the early 2000s as a black kid or whatever kid, you know what I'm saying, who's going through being sick or faking sick. Excuse me. But it's always fun to, you know, spend a day out of school so you can spend time with your relatives, even though you could have done this on the weekend. But the weekday is always fun. But at the same time, kids who are watching this, even though my content is not for kids, never fake sick at all, because it's not going to work out for you in the end. Even though that you don't want to go to school most days, you have to go to school. School is important so you can grow up and get a job. Don't be staying at home during your school hours. You know what I'm saying? Try to fake sick to play Fortnite or something. But let me get up out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. We got a special one coming up for you next week. So stay tuned. Love you guys.